It's Friday, January 9th. This is CTV at 6. Here's what's making news tonight. There's continued fallout over a garage turned ward at Fredericton's hospital. Ramping up, Halifax commuters suddenly face a barrier at a major exit point.
Another round of snow, freezing rain, and rain is expected to end the weekend. More on what to expect coming up.
Live from our Maritimes News Center, this is CTV News at 6. Here is Todd Battis.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us on this Friday. There's more anger tonight over a makeshift unit created at Fredericton's hospital to deal with overcrowding. Critics insist there are other parts of the hospital that could be used to house the unit rather than a garage. CTV's Laura Brown reports.
You're looking at bed 13 of the medical transition unit at the Dr. Everett Chalmers Hospital. It's located in the hospital's ambulance bay, which means paramedics wait outside. David Kuhn took these photos after visiting a patient who spent about 3 days in the unit.
It really is appalling. You can't sleep well at night because the lights are on all the time, and their family put up sheets actually to try and block the light coming through the flimsy curtains that are there.
The unit is in the spotlight after an open letter to the Premier described an elderly woman's experience while there. The letter said there's no bathroom, running water, doors or windows, or overall privacy. Kuhn recalls nurses using a temporary hand-washing station, like the ones used at concerts or exhibitions. He wonders why it's in the ambulance bay instead of the hospital's new addition.
160,000 square feet on 3 floors. It is not occupied yet. It's huge. Look, it's big, and they could put 13 beds in there in the even the labor and delivery maternity ward, which isn't going to be open for a while yet.
That $250 million addition began in 2016 and was supposed to be done by now, but Horizon Health says it's still under active construction. It's all a wake-up call, says Paula Doucette.
Hallway nursing versus garage nursing, they're both inadequate. They're both unacceptable, but we're faced with infrastructure that has not kept up with demand. And we know that when the deck was built many years ago, the population of Fredericton was much less than what it is today.
The hospital was built in the mid-1970s. These days, it's regularly operating over 100% capacity.
Nurses are working with more staff than they have been in the past year. However, it's still not adequate. We still need more bodies in place.
Doctors are concerned about these units too. The Medical Society is calling for urgency, saying until the larger issue of long-term care is addressed, these units are the unfortunate reality at some hospitals. Laura Brown, CTV News, Fredericton.
3 young men have died in a collision between a car and a transport truck on Route 11 in Black Point, New Brunswick. This happened shortly after 7 last night. The collision is believed to have occurred when the car crossed the center line, hitting a transport truck head-on. The driver of the car, a 25-year-old man from Campbellton, and the 2 occupants, a 27-year-old from Moncton and an 18-year-old man from Dalhousie, died at the scene. The driver, the only person in the truck, suffered minor injuries. An RCMP collision expert and a member of the coroner's office are investigating. Route 11 was closed for half the day. St. John police are seeking the public's help with identifying a pair of suspects that broke into a home and assaulted a woman over the holidays. Police responded just before 5 in the morning on December 29th to Mecklenburg Street, Uptown, after a 911 call. Police found a woman unconscious inside the home. She was taken to hospital and has since been released. Police are looking for 2 white men, one in his late 30s with a medium build, reddish beard and mustache. The other in his 20s with a short, slight build and dark clothes. Police do not believe the woman assaulted was the intended target. 4 people have now been charged after shots were fired in Sydney yesterday. That happened in a McDonald's parking lot early in the morning. Witnesses saw a person firing a shot at 2 people who were running towards Welton Street. 4 people, 2 men, 2 women, now facing charges. One of them, 42-year-old Raymond Michael Hannock, is facing 4 charges, including flight from police. Cape Breton Regional Police continue to investigate this case. A plan to improve traffic flow around one of Halifax's busiest intersections is going to cause some pain before there's relief. As part of the rebuild of the Windsor Exchange, a major exit from Halifax is shut down for the next 2 years. As CTV's Callum Smith reports, the first full day of the closure certainly created confusion.
That's not the only driver who found their own detour after the closure last night of the ramp from Massachusetts Avenue toward the Windsor Street Exchange. What started with a lane realignment is now a 2-year closure.
We have responded to some feedback that we've received with concerns around the ramp from Massachusetts towards the Bedford Highway and Windsor Street Exchange.
She says that stems from sightline, speed, and safety concerns.
Safety-wise, I believe it's actually a good thing, because if you've ever driven that exit going up there, that's actually a blind yield.
The larger project is the ongoing redevelopment of the exchange. The facelift, estimated to cost around $150 million, likely going into 2028 or 2029.
This is not just the busiest intersection in HRM, it's the busiest in the province from what I understand. So it absolutely has to be rebuilt. It's handling more traffic than it was built for. It's become unsafe. So we have to rebuild it.
Signs are in place at the Roby and Yonge intersection, but if you miss them, you're either trying to merge a few lanes with bridge traffic or go all the way to Dartmouth and back. That's what this roadside service company owner and Halifax traffic vlogger did.
They have a detour sign there to put you down on Barrington Street, but it's very difficult to cross those 3 active lanes. So personally, I just went across the bridge and turned around.
The project manager suggests avoiding the route altogether if possible to avoid situations like this.
My suggestion, if you're going down Roby, if you're going north on Roby, is to turn on Yonge and take Kemptor Windsor towards Bedford Highway.
The project is going hand in hand with some critical Halifax water work, meaning active construction for the next 3 to 4 years. But that's all pending further Halifax Council approval. Councillor Catherine Morse acknowledges the construction is inconvenient, but calls it necessary.
It's just really the most critical piece of infrastructure in the city right now.
So where do we go from here? The next council decision will come after a staff presentation in March. As mentioned, this detour is just preliminary work right now. The city's project team is working with Dexter Construction to finalize the scope, timeline, and costs before councillors will have their say on next steps. Todd.
All right, Callum Smith at the Windsor Exchange in North End, Halifax for us. Thank you, Callum. If you live in Halifax, get ready to pay more for water. Halifax Water has gone back to the drawing board to revise rate increases at the instruction of the regulator. Now, if approved, the cost of water will jump just over 18% this year. The average residential bill will increase 12.1% this month. That'll be followed by another 6% hike in April. The utility insists it needs large increases to cover debt, infrastructure costs, among other things. Halifax Mayor Andy Fillmore, who has requested an audit, calls it, quote, rate shock. In a statement to CTV News, he says 18% in less than 6 months is still too high. Still with water, and we've been telling you for years now about summertime water issues in the community of Alma in New Brunswick along the Fundy Coast. Now a new problem has popped up in the winter. CTV's Derek Haggett explains.
Some people in the community of Alma woke up to no running water this morning. The municipality of Fundy Albert notified people living there yesterday about significantly higher than normal water use, but wasn't sure why. A temporary water shutdown was in effect until around 6 a.m.
It's strange because there's really no one in this town. There's, 280 residents, and that's all on the system right now. So obviously there's more problems going on.
Fundy Albert's CAO fully understands the frustration. Reliable access to water is essential to daily life, and our team is actively working to mitigate service disruptions while crews continue their efforts to resolve the issue as quickly and safely as possible. I spoke with a couple of Alma residents today who are happy to hear that crews are out working on the problem, but they'd like to have a little bit more communication from the municipality when it comes to the water issues.
The lack of transparency and communication from the municipality is what's the most frustrating part of the whole ordeal.
But Fundy Albert did provide an update this afternoon saying the issue has been localized to a limited area and staff continue to look for a leak. One possibility? Recent freeze-thaw weather conditions that can place stress on water lines. Summertime boil orders have been common for years when tourists flock to the area. There's no increase in visitors now, but a boil water order is currently in effect.
Very tired of this. It's extremely inconvenient. It's an added expense for families and restaurants and business owners.
Fundy Albert will continue to provide updates, but there's no timeline for a full resolution. Derek Haggett, CTV News, Alma, New Brunswick.
There is a live look at Argyle Street in downtown Halifax, looking rather quiet actually for a Friday night. We know that's going to change with all the hockey that's going to be in downtown Halifax over the next couple of days. 1 degree. Let's bring in Kaylin Mitchell. You heard from Derek, the old freeze thaw.
Had a lot of that so far through this first part of January, and more still to come. We saw 1 degree there at Halifax, but temperatures will probably rise a couple of degrees as we head through this evening and tonight as we remain in a south wind. One other thing we need to talk about is the special weather statements that have been issued around the Maritime region. This is for the end of the weekend. For Sunday, they do blanket the province of New Brunswick, where in the north of the province, it could be as much as 15 to 25 centimeters of snow to come down Sunday and into Sunday night into the early morning hours of Monday. With southern areas of New Brunswick, maybe seeing 5 to 15 centimeters of snow, but with some ice pellets and freezing rain mixed in. Speaking of an icy mix, there's certainly the potential for that on Sunday around Prince Edward Island, areas of the north of Nova Scotia, those areas underneath a special weather statement as well. Let's take a look at what's going on radar and satellite. So we do have a mixture of snow and rain that is coming in for this evening and tonight, but this is not related to the Sunday weather system. Instead, this is with a low pressure system that's making its way out of Ontario and into Quebec. The Sunday weather system is in 3 parts right now, but are going to be coming together to bring us that wintry mix for the end of the weekend. One of those parts is with a low pressure system that's making its way through southern Manitoba at the moment. Second part is with an area of some snow that's making its way just past the Rockies in the state of Colorado. And the third part is with low pressure system that's developing right now around Texas. So those 3 parts coming together and bringing us that mix for the end of the weekend. Here's how Sunday's looking, or how it's expected to shape up so far. This mixture of snow, ice pellets, freezing rain, and rain developing from the west of the region into the east as we move through the morning towards the noon hours. So weather conditions deteriorating through the first part of the day. We're then in that wintry mix through the afternoon and into Sunday evening, before later Sunday night and into early Monday morning that mix begins to move off towards the northeast. I'll talk more about it though, Todd, when I'm back a little bit later on.
Okay, we will see you for that. Earlier this week, we reported the sudden closure of global gaming company Ubisoft's Halifax studio, putting 71 people out of work. It comes weeks after staff unionized and at a time when the entire industry is in flux. Here's CTV's Jesse Thomas.
For John Huffman, the news came as a shock after helping form a union at Ubisoft Halifax. He and his 70 colleagues are out of a job.
We were kind of blindsided because we just got back from our Christmas break.
Ubisoft declined an interview with CTV News, but in a statement said the closure is part of a company-wide restructuring plan that's been in the works for nearly 2 years. The company says the forming of the Halifax union last month had nothing to do with the decision, pointing to other studio closures and downsizing around the globe, including in Osaka, San Francisco, and London. The gaming industry has become increasingly competitive, requiring Ubisoft to focus on projects with the greatest potential for success. The Halifax studio, which focused on mobile game development, is working with the union to review the closure to ensure worker rights are protected.
And it was a big moment of triumph for us. So to then go from that to less than a month later having our studio shut down, for me, I can't help but feel that there might be some relationship there.
Industry experts say the closure also reflects a broader shift across the global gaming sector.
There's been a lot of talk that Ubisoft's in real trouble and they need to go through a big restructuring. And so the fact that some Ubisoft studios are closing is not surprising.
With the amount of talent that was let go by Ubisoft in Halifax, Warren said there's a chance to build a new studio, but many looking for jobs in the industry will have to leave Nova Scotia.
You hate to see it, right? Like they've spent so much time building up this sector, And now, they're all going to go leave to, Ontario or Quebec, where there are still some opportunities.
Ubisoft says it's offered all employees severance packages and career transition support. But with the city's largest game studio gone, the closure will be felt far and wide.
But there is no more, big player, as it were.
Jesse Thomas, CTV News, Halifax.
Get the Maritime's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
Events at Halifax's Scotiabank Centre are moving ahead as planned after yesterday's fire. Flames were spotted at noon, and they were related to work being done on the exterior of the arena. The fire was quickly put out by firefighters. Today, Events East, that's the company that manages the building, said a full assessment and cleaning of the center had been done, including air quality control testing. So it will be business as usual for a busy weekend of hockey. Online, we have the lineup for Canada's just announced women's Olympic hockey team, and Nova Scotia soccer star Jacob Schaffelberg is undergoing surgery. That means he'll miss a Team Canada camp. And both those stories are up on our website right now, ctvnewsatlantic.ca. An update now to a story we brought you earlier in the week that lit up the internet. A deer that was all wrapped up in Christmas lights has been untangled. Natural resources crews spotted the deer roaming through Bedford. They removed the lights because they had wrapped around the animal's neck. It is doing fine. All right, time for a break. Still to come, a mix of snow and rain. As you heard from much of the region tonight, Kalen will have the full weekend forecast. But next, hanging up their helmets. A dozen volunteer firefighters in one maritime town are calling it quits, saying they're frustrated. I'll tell you why next. Twelve volunteer firefighters in Sackville, New Brunswick have parked the rigs and handed in their pagers, citing frustrations with what they claim are workplace safety and harassment issues. CTV's Josh Smith reports.
A dispute involving Sackville's fire service has many people in this community raising questions and concerns about safety and whether their properties will be protected. Earlier this week, nearly half of the volunteer firefighters stepped aside in a community of more than 6,000 residents, and one that's also home to Mount Allison University. The firefighters are citing ongoing concerns with management that they say they've raised repeatedly. In a statement, the 12 firefighters said they feel that the municipality has not made adequate and meaningful action to address the underlying problems within the department to mitigate favoritism and to provide a safe and harassment-free environment. Neither the firefighters nor the municipality would agree to an interview. The municipality said in a statement that they take all allegations submitted under their workplace harassment and violence policy very seriously, and that they're committed to providing a harassment-free environment where all workers are treated with dignity and respect. Among those watching this situation closely is Sackville resident Scott Terrio.
I unfortunately had to use the Sackville Fire Department. My house caught on fire when I moved into it. I was only 13 days in, and they came and saved the day. So I hope that we can still get that kind of coverage and still have the same service that we did before.
Terrio is hoping for a resolution. The firefighters are trying to clarify that this is not a resignation, but stepping away is meant to draw attention to their concerns. Meanwhile, the municipality is arranging meetings and that they say fire services will not be disrupted. Josh Smith, CTV News, Sackville, New Brunswick.
All right, thank you, Josh. Looks like Saturday is going to be the better of the 2 days if you want to get outside and get anything done. A little more wintry on Sunday. Kalen has the details. We'll have those for us in 2 minutes. This is the Shubenacadie River, and as you can see, the water levels up a fair amount compared to what they were. We were talking about drought and, you know, how we would need a snowpack and significant amount of rain.
Yeah.
So what do you make of that, Kalen, when you see that water?
Well, I was going to say, people probably don't want to hear this, but I wish the snowpack would build up a little bit more in around the riverbanks there, the Scotiabank River. I mean, I've been on the rainy side of these last couple of weather systems. Hard to get that snowpack to add up a little bit. We want that around for the spring months so it slowly releases moisture as opposed to the rain, which tends to run off pretty quickly.
Especially, you know, if it's frozen land, right? Okay.
Exactly.
So this weekend, add a little more to that?
Yeah, we got a winter mix on its way in for Sunday. First of all, for tonight, there's already a light mix coming in. More on that in a moment. Let's take a quick look at weather conditions across the country. We've got 8 degrees right now in Vancouver and Victoria. Colder air all bottled up in the north at the moment. Whitehorse sitting at -26. Fort McMurray at -23. Yellowknife -28. Iqaluit's temperatures have been coming down steadily throughout the week, so they're currently sitting at -12 in the north there. Toronto sitting at 5 degrees, 6 at Ottawa, so it is mild right now in southern Ontario, and mild into the Maritimes by January standards. 2 at Fredericton, 0 at Halifax International Airport, -1 at Charlottetown, and -2 at St. John's. Taking a look at our timeline, this light mixture of snow and rain crossing west to east across the region as we move through tonight may bring in some very localized snowfall totals between 1 and 4 centimeters for a few parts of the north of New Brunswick, mostly at higher terrain, and a chance of a little bit of snow in parts of Prince Edward Island. Other parts of the Maritimes mostly seeing lighter rain and showers from it that could be a few to several millimeters. Might be some fog patches around tonight. And then in the forecast for tomorrow, what's left of those showers will be clearing the east of the region in the morning. It's going to be a windy start to the day on Saturday, though. We'll take a look at the winds in the forecast in a moment. Saturday afternoon, a mix of sun and cloud, and then we have a wintry mix arriving on Sunday. More on that. Taking a look at the winds in the forecast as we move through tonight into the start of the day for tomorrow, the wind direction changes from the south, becomes a west wind, northwest in a few parts of New Brunswick. The gusts coming up between 40 and 60 kilometers per hour. There may be some peak gusts of between 60 and 80 around exposed parts of the coastline, around the northeast New Brunswick, the Acadian Peninsula, the northern shoreline of Prince Edward Island, the Northumberland coastline of mainland Nova Scotia, and northern coastal areas of Cape Breton. Now, the winds will diminish for western parts of the Maritimes as we move into and through Saturday afternoon, and then diminish for eastern parts of the region as we move through Saturday evening. Low temperatures in the forecast for tonight should occur this evening. In some cases, temperatures will rise a few degrees tonight, but they'll be mostly in the range of a few degrees below to a few degrees above the freezing mark. Highs in the forecast for tomorrow in the north of New Brunswick between 1 and 5 degrees, with central and southern parts of that province with high temperatures tomorrow between 5 and 8 degrees, so mid-single digits. Prince Edward Island for tomorrow with high temperatures between 4 and 6 in the east of Nova Scotia. In Cape Breton, it's high temperatures between 6 and 9 degrees, 9 there for Ingonish, and between 6 and 8 for parts of the North Shore and Eastern Shore of the province. 6 to 8 degrees in the forecast for northern and central areas of Nova Scotia. In the Annapolis Valley, the high temperatures near 8 degrees. For communities on the South Shore of Nova Scotia, most of the high temperatures will be around 7, 8 degrees. Now, on to Sunday's weather. The issue we have is that Saturday night into Sunday, temperatures get chilly again, falling below the freezing mark, and then that next weather system sort of moves more directly through the Maritimes. On the northern edge of it, which looks like it's mostly going to pass through northern and central areas of New Brunswick, maybe parts of Prince County and Prince Edward Island, fair bit of snow. 10 to 20 centimeters, potential for some locally higher amounts. And then into the south of New Brunswick, the remainder of Prince Edward Island, northern areas of Nova Scotia, and maybe 5 to 10 centimeters of snow, but mixed in heavily with some ice pellets and some freezing rain. And we know what kind of slick surfaces that can develop. There will also be a higher risk of some freezing rain in the interior areas of Nova Scotia and extending into Cape Breton, but the potential for the heaviest of the rain will be right on the Atlantic coastline of Nova Scotia, could be as much as 15 to 40 millimeters. Taking a look at the 7-day forecast for us in New Brunswick. It's a wintry mix there for Sunday. On Monday, it is flurries in the forecast. Tuesday, a mix of sun and cloud. We've got a chance of showers on Wednesday and a chance of showers on Thursday of next week, followed by snow possible on Friday. For Nova Scotia in the forecast, coming up on Sunday, it's that wintry mix again for Nova Scotia. More freezing rain and rain compared to PEI in New Brunswick. Flurries in the forecast for Monday. Tuesday, a mix of sun and cloud, increasing cloudiness on Wednesday, mixture of showers and flurries on Thursday of next week, snow possible on Friday. And for Prince Edward Island, coming up at the end of the weekend, it's that wintry mix of weather followed up by flurries and gusty winds on Monday, mix of sun and cloud for Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, flurries for Thursday, and then snow possible on Friday. Todd.
Okay, we'll see you at the end of the show for the Wake Up. Still ahead, Katie has plenty of local entertainment news on the scene. And next, CTV film critic Richard Krause has the weekend's new releases. Don't go away.
Okay, have a great weekend. And remember, coming up Monday morning, another chance to win $100,000 from Virgin Radio. Destroys your day.
Those keywords start at 7 a.m.
You also get a shot at a $100 gas card. Good luck.
It's Friday. Let's go to the cinemas. There's lots playing. Our guide, as usual, to what's good is CTV film critic Liverpool's Richard Krause. Hi, Richard. Happy New Year.
Hi, Todd. How are you? Happy New Year to you.
Good to see you. We're going to get right into this. First is I can't believe I'm going to say this, a First World War sing-along. Here's a look at the choral.
Joining up. I feel it's my patriotic duty. We'll need a new chorus master. I hope he puts the wind up the Germans more than he ever did the Sopranos.
Okay, because it's the First World War, you know there's going to be an element of horror, but there's also beauty in this, and Ralph Fiennes is, I'm guessing, spectacular.
Yeah, absolutely he is. There are no actual battle scenes in this film. This is a story that takes place in a small town in northern England. They had a choir, but it was decimated by the conscription to send young men to the Western Front during World War I, and they desperately need more singers. They have to expand their search, and they need a choir master. So they make kind of an unusual choice in bringing in someone named Dr. Gunther, played by Ralph Fiennes. He is an atheist. He loves Germany, which makes him very unpopular around there, but he also knows more about music than any of them in town, and he manages to cobble together this choir, this choral, that manages somehow to use music to become the center of community life and to actually help build a community in this small town that has been torn apart by the war. So it's about the power of music to heal, but it's also quite funny, like way funnier than I made it seem just then. And Ralph Fiennes is the key element here. He is at the heart of every scene. He is the glue that holds this thing together. So it's called The Choral. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars, and it's in theaters right now.
Okay, and lots of familiar faces, English actors. Why do you think it is that British filmmakers keep returning to the theme of the First World War?
Well, it's a rich vein of storytelling. There are so many various aspects. I would never have considered the idea of writing a story about a small town decimated by war that needed to put together a choir. But you know what? This works, and it works because it feels authentic.
Okay, good. The next, and can I say the return of Lucy Liu?
You sure can.
Okay, here's a look at Rosemead.
This isn't going to just go away like some cold. He needs to learn to live with it. You both do.
This is a true story about mental health and family relationships.
Yeah, and it is something that I was kind of surprised to learn. It's Lucy Liu's first lead in a straight drama film. We've seen her in Charlie's Angels movies and Kill Bill and things like that, but we've never seen her quite like this before. She plays a Chinese immigrant, a single mom, terminally ill, trying to raise her son, who was an A student and then is diagnosed with schizophrenia, and she tries her best to figure out how to navigate his world and her world simultaneously. I will tell you nothing more about this. It is based on a true story, and you may find yourself wanting to look up that story. Don't. Go into this cold if you can, because it starts somewhere and it ends at another kind of shocking place, and you'll find yourself questioning the ethical and moral repercussions of what you've just seen. It's a really interesting film that way. It's a thinker. So I gave it 3.5 stars out of 5, and Lucy Liu is terrific.
Okay, well, that's good to hear. Another family is in the focus of father, mother, sister, brother. Here we go.
We toast our tea to family relations.
Oh, I'd be happy to see them on the one hand, but I just have to keep them from stirring things up.
Oh, Richard, you had me at Tom Waits.
Me too. And so this is Jim Jarmusch. They've worked together a fair amount. Jim Jarmusch, the director, Tom Waits, one of the stars. And this is actually 3 separate stories banged together to make one film. And it's all about parents and children and the secrets that they keep from one another. The first story, tremendous cast. I mean, you've got Tom Waits and Adam Driver. You've got Kate Blanchett in the second story with Charlotte Rampling. You've got an all-star great cast here that ties all 3 of these stories together, even though they have nothing to do with one another, other than the central theme of the sort of unknowability of your relatives. And it's funny, it's smart. It's kind of what I call a hangout movie, because there is no huge conflict and there's no big fireworks moment. There are emotional fireworks, and so I gave it 3 stars out of 5, called Father, Mother, Sister, Brother, in theaters right now.
Does that work, having the 3 different storylines? Because oftentimes movies are like that are clunky and they don't...
It does, and Jim Jarmusch has made a few of these. He's made Mystery Train and a number of others that have these disparate stories that he brings together, and he knows how to do it.
Okay. Look, we got a minute or so, but I think we should talk about the sensation that is the TV series Heated Rivalry. We know it was written by a Nova Scotian. We'd like to celebrate that. But this thing is taken off in Hollywood, where it stars not connected at all, movie stars in particular. That's all they want to talk about.
It is wild how this really is living at the center of popular culture right now. If you watched Anderson Cooper and Andy Cohen on New Year's Eve, they talked about it on the air. Stephen Colbert has said he's a fan. Brandi Carlile, the singer, says she is obsessed with it. This is a show that really seems to have hooked people, and I'm thrilled to see a Canadian production. Showrunner Jacob Tierney, a great guy, has made a few movies and was behind Letterkenny and Shoresy, coming back doing something different that's progressive, that pushes some buttons, and finds a worldwide audiences and says to the world, hey, Canada, we can make shows that you'll be interested in. So
and not driven
keep
by
your
any,
eyes open.
These are unknowns. These 2 guys are unknowns for the most part.
They won't be for long.
I know that won't change. That'll change, right? They were on Jimmy Fallon. There was talk about Emmys, but there's some issue with all Canadian
content. It's all Canadian money, so there's no Emmy awards coming their way. But you know what? The worldwide success, I think, is probably better than an Emmy.
Oh, and Richard, we know the folks, our bosses, absolutely love us when we talk about it because, as you mentioned, it is a CTV Crave production. All right, that is Richard Krause. Happy viewing. We'll see you very soon, my friend.
Talk to you soon. Thank you.
Time for a break. We'll be back in 2 minutes. In health news tonight, a new Canadian study finds women are underrepresented in some clinical trials. CTV's Amanda Debison has more in the Friday edition of The Lifeline.
A new study out of the University of Manitoba suggests women are underrepresented in some clinical trials. For the study, researchers looked at 25 studies over a 10-year period up to 2025, which analyzed the cardiovascular effects of 2 types of glucose-lowering medications. Those trials involved some 185,000 participants. However, the study found only about 1/3 were women. The authors note the drugs were shown to be effective generally, but pointed out there are significant differences between men and women when it comes to heart health. They say equal representation in such studies is needed to make sure they lead to effective treatment for everyone. Doctors are sounding the alarm over the rise of illegal, high-dose caffeine pouches among teens and kids.
If a person is using these caffeine pouches, you might see that they're more irritable compared to normal. They might have a tremor in their hands and extremities, and it might appear to be more anxious.
Health Canada advises no more than 2.5 milligrams per kilogram of body weight for caffeine in teens, which equates to about 1 cup of coffee a day for someone who weighs 125 pounds. The majority of the caffeine pouches have a much higher dose of caffeine than a regular cup of coffee. Finally, new Health Canada regulations have come into effect for the labeling on the front of groceries. Companies now have to state if their product is high in things like sugar, saturated fat, and sodium. There are exemptions to the new regulations. Things like fresh, raw fruits and vegetables and fresh meat and poultry do not need labels. With Health and Medical News, I'm Amanda Debison for The Lifeline.
Friday. We always like entertainment on Friday. The country music fans in the Maritimes are going to get a chance to step inside the life of a true outlaw legend. I like the sounds of that.
Yes. The story of Waylon Jennings is hitting our region this month, bringing his music, legacy, and larger-than-life story
He was
to the
that.
stage.
Yep.
Don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys.
A portrait of a rebel spirit. And
The live
country
production
music
stops
outlaw.
first at Casino
40
New
million
Brunswick
albums
in
sold.
Moncton on March 26th before heading to Casino Nova Scotia in Halifax March 27th. The show celebrates Jennings' groundbreaking career, from his outlaw country sound to the songs that changed the genre forever. Tickets for these shows are on sale now.
And if you love classic country music, I certainly do, this is another show you won't want to miss.
That's right. The Grand Tour is back.
By these rose-colored glasses.
The Grand Tour has 11 stops and debuts Friday, February 13th in Memramcook. They'll also go to Pictou, Miramichi, Tracadie, Halifax, Truro, Port Hawkesbury, Glace Bay, Charlottetown, St. John, and Woodstock. The group of PEI musicians celebrates the songs, stories, and sound of classic country music. For tickets and full tour dates, you can go online.
You did the full story with them.
Last year.
Last year, boy, the guys are great.
They're so good.
I should get guys and gals because both in there. And yeah, good for them, hitting everywhere.
Yes.
Maritimers also being invited to step into a world of romance, mystery, and timeless music.
Music of the Night, the concert tour, is coming to casinos in Nova Scotia and New Brunswick. Experience the most iconic songs from Andrew Lloyd Webber's legendary musicals, including The Phantom of the Opera. It's happening on one magical night in Halifax, March 31st, and then Moncton, April 4th. Tickets are on sale now.
All right, and something else for theater fans.
Yes. A big announcement from Neptune is coming soon.
We can have any man going. Reach your ball strongly.
So we just want to let you know that the theater company will unveil its brand new season next Tuesday evening at a special event, and I'm going to be there live sharing all of the details right here on CTV News at 6. The lineup for this new season is going to be incredible. That's all I can tell you for now, but more to come next week.
My niece is in that video. Remember you talked to her.
I love that, yes.
Now to an engagement that no one saw coming, Katie.
Especially the NHL superstar sitting right next to it.
Isn't it lovely? All alone, heart made of glass, man.
So a video that is going viral on TikTok shows a French-Canadian couple getting engaged unknowingly just feet away from Sidney Crosby, who is sitting in that SUV. If you could get up close and look, you would see Sid the kid sitting there. The Penguins captain appears to casually watch it all unfold, and the internet cannot get enough of this video. It has gone completely viral.
That is hilarious.
Isn't that too cute?
And we love it when people check out the CTV Video Vault, and you've got a good one here.
Yes. 40 years ago this month, CTV sat down with legendary crooner Tony Bennett, capturing a moment in music history.
But the first minute I walked in, they had this magnificent walnut on the great wood all over the place.
That's Bennett in 1986, talking about how much he loves the Rebecca Cohen Auditorium. The full interview is now part of our CTV Video Vault. Just head to our website, ctvnewsatlantic.ca. I don't think I was even born yet when this happened.
Another great in there, Bill Jessam having the conversation with them. That's one worth looking up. Okay, before we go, you've got a reminder. Look at the head of dark hair. Amazing.
I know.
Contest, right?
Yes, so CTV wants to send you to the 2026 IIHF U18 Women's World Championship. Canada's national women's under-18 team will defend their World Championship title on home soil in Membertou and Sydney, Nova Scotia from January 10th to 18th. One lucky viewer will win a pair of tickets to the bronze and gold medal games on January 18th, plus a signed Team Canada jersey. To enter, scan the QR code or go to ctvatlantic.ca and follow the contest prompts. The contest is open until 6 p.m. Saturday. Enter for your chance to cheer on Team Canada.
Could you just say that all over again, please?
No. I think I'm out of breath at this point, and you know that.
I know that. Have a great weekend.
You too.
We're back in a minute.
Mornings with Aaron and Peter.
Passport to Paradise is back, and this year we're sending you to beaches, Turks and Caicos.
We have 30 all-inclusive trips for two to give away. It all starts Friday at 6.
On the markets, the Dow Jones closed the trading week up 237 points. The unemployment rate also moved up in December, even though new jobs were added to the economy. BNN Bloomberg's Morella Fernandez explains.
The rate moved to 6.8% in December, up from 6.5% in November. 8,200 jobs were added, but there were more people looking for work, which is why the rate moved up. Science and technical jobs were lost in December, but manufacturing jobs were gained. Statistics Canada also reported a reversal in youth employment, which includes young people between the ages of 15 and 24. In October and November, there were 70,000 jobs created, but that segment lost more than 25,000 jobs in December. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is down to 71.87. West Texas Intermediate is up just under $1 to 58.74. Western Canadian Select is up over $1 to 42.66. And the TSX gained another 234 points today for a third record close for the week. Those are your business headlines. I'm Morella Fernandez.
Kayla Mitchell's outside with one more look at the weekend. Kayla?
Yeah, it's pretty calm out here at the moment, Todd. It's chilly. There's just a light breeze around in the north end of Halifax, but there is that light mixture of snow and rain that'll be coming across the region for tonight. Mostly some light rain expected here and around the Halifax area. Well, let's take a look at our viewer picture for tonight. It's a nice wildlife shot. This one coming in out of New Brunswick was sent in by Robert Wilms. Want to thank Robert very much for taking the time. Send this picture my way. We've got a couple deer here in the snow-covered woods. And again, this was taken near Minto. And for Minto for tomorrow, clearing to a mix of sun and cloud. It's going to be windy in the morning. That's when the wind gusts will be at their highest. It should diminish afternoon into evening. The high temperature near 4 degrees. Day planner for tomorrow. First thing in the morning, chance of a couple of lingering flurries in the north of New Brunswick and a chance of a shower for Prince Edward Island, eastern Nova Scotia. But those shower chances should be coming to an end moving into the afternoon, which again will be mostly a mix of sun and cloud. Winds noticeable tomorrow, especially morning into early afternoon. Out of the west will be some gusts 40 to 60. The winds gradually diminishing west to east across the region Saturday afternoon through Saturday evening. Let's find out what's ahead next week on Your Morning Atlantic.
Monday on Your Morning Atlantic, saddle up. We visit a local riding stable to get the goods on horse grooming and find out how horses can be therapeutic. Start your morning with us Monday on Your Morning Atlantic on CTV2 and Crave.
Finally tonight, a major Emmy Award is being added for the first time in nearly 2 decades, making older shows eligible for a new award. The Television Academy has announced the Legacy Award will be presented to TV programs that made a profound and lasting impact on audiences. Past and ongoing programs are eligible. Candidates must have at least 60 episodes over a minimum of 5 seasons. The program also needs to have demonstrated continued and sustained relevance, influence, or inspiration. Finally, the Dukes of Hazzard might get that critical recognition it deserves. That's our look at the day here at home. Bruce Frisco is here at 11:30. CTVNewsAtlantic.ca is where our weekend reporting will be. Scenes of Terrence Bay, Nova Scotia, and the names of everyone who brings you your nightly news as we go. I'm Todd Battis. I hope to see you here Monday night at 6. Until then, have a great weekend.
CTV News, the Maritime's #1 newscast. Watch live on Crave.